Welcome to As Real as They Come Dallas, and this is our new rubric called Keeping It Realty. And I have my most amazing Alicia Chmielewski here.
That's me, Alicia with the long last name.
I love how you were introducing your last name. Is Milewski?
Yeah, so you say my name like my left ski instead of my right ski. Yeah.
Yes.
And I've only skied a couple times, but let me tell you, it's good stuff.
It's good stuff. I'm always afraid. I'm good like waiting for people to skate down and ski down and
Well, I
I'm
have
over
to
there.
admit, my last one, I had a complete wipeout, and I broke my thumbnails.
That's probably worse than breaking a foot for a woman.
Yeah, it was pretty traumatic.
It's like I just had them done. That's too cute. So, Alicia,
Yes.
so you're so awesome, and I love talking to awesome people,
Thank you.
and I love having you here. So tell us about yourself.
So about myself, let's see. I mean, what do you want to know? I'm unique. I know obviously we're talking about real estate here, and unlike most traditional real estate salespeople, I do something a little different than most. I actually partner up with luxury listing agents across the country and help them market and sell their $2 million+ homes in about 45 days. So it's unusual. We create a sense of urgency that normally isn't in the high-end luxury marketplace, and that's what makes me different.
Yeah, definitely, because I love researching on local market, and particularly I love looking at luxury listings and seeing how our dynamics are in DFW marketplace. And 45 days is impressive because I'm seeing some listings there for 300 days, 400 days, and
Oh yeah, and in the multi-million-dollar price point, they normally sit, like I say normally, there's always variables, but it's not uncommon for them to sit on the market a couple years, and there's very little activity. And unfortunately, when you get into that price point, what you're seeing is the buyers don't have to do anything. And don't you dare tell them otherwise, because they didn't get to be, at where they are in life today by just being pushed around.
Absolutely.
So if you say you need to buy this house now, no one's going to tell them what to do. It'll be on their own terms. So how do you address that? That's my specialty.
wonderful. So you tell high hitters how to do it and what to do.
Well, basically, I give them an option. I'm just like, listen, you can either own this house and have the opportunity to, or you can miss this opportunity altogether. And
Yeah.
it may or may not ever come available to you again. So you got to act.
Absolutely. And I'm on the lending side, so I see a lot of people, they get pre-qualified for a certain amount, but then you go in and you start thinking about that property, whether I should get it, maybe I should think about it.
And then it's gone.
And if you saw this house today, somebody saw it already yesterday and puts the offer today. So, and being here in Dallas area, our real estate is very fast.
Oh, it's hot.
But you're not just in DFW. You are nationwide, if not worldwide,
That's
aren't you?
correct. That's correct. I'm based here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but I've sold homes in Maryland. Actually, quite a few in Maryland. I'm off to Chicago next week to sell a condo there. But I'm everywhere. South Carolina, you name it.
She's
I'm
international.
all over.
So how did you get to that particular niche? Because we all know real estate has so many niches. You can
Sure.
get rental, investment, your primary, commercial. How did you get into auctions?
Well, interesting question, because it's actually personal experience, right? So as being on the traditional real estate side, I started back in 2008, during the downturn of the market. So I feel like if I can make it through that, I can make it through anything. Knock on wood. But I was selling things traditionally via traditional means. I had my first true luxury multi-million-dollar listing in Dallas, and I was so excited. And I'm going to do something different than every other agent. At least that's what I wanted. And, also just trying to be creative. I want to serve my clients to the best of my ability. And so I kept on looking at different marketing avenues. What could I do as far as PR? What could I do as far as marketing? What could I do to bring people in that might not otherwise come in? And so then at one point, I heard about this luxury auction concept, and I'm like, I don't know about this. And my reasoning behind that was because I simply wasn't educated and I didn't know. But then as I delved in and did more research, I started to determine that, oh my gosh, this creates a sense of urgency that isn't there amongst buyers. Because, as most luxury agents will do, they will have an agent to meet. And so let's say that you're the real estate agent for the buyers. Well, you're going to be meeting, let's say that I'm the listing agent. We're getting together, we are bringing your buyers to the house, and I'm directing you through, so that way you don't miss anything. Hidden doors, the story of the home, yada yada. Okay.
There's so much to see. And
there's
plus,
so much more.
You protecting the asset of your seller.
Absolutely.
Making sure, because there are people having antiques, they having high priced china or whatever else, and everybody treasures this because obviously people work so hard for what they have, like you said.
Of course.
And they didn't come, and most people don't wake up rich like that.
Right.
You make your own living, and that's impressive, and it's very honorable to be respectful of their property and
Of course.
make sure that you give the best presentation. That's beautiful.
Well, thank you. So one thing that I was able to see and witness firsthand was as I would go through, and this is one particular property that I'm like thinking of because it was so like determining for me that this is such a good idea, is that I would show the property and then I would ask the buyers. I would look to the buyers and look to the buyer's agent and I say, okay, so does this meet your criteria? How do you feel about this house? And so many times, I can tell you 4 different times on 4 different people, and they would all say, oh, this is wonderful. This is more than I had imagined. And so with feedback like that, without any negative whatsoever, these are qualified individuals. These are not, tire kickers. These are people that are ready and willing, given the right circumstance, to pull the trigger on a multi-million-dollar home. Well, what wound up happening is that they would always say some kind of an excuse. I'm waiting for my next deal to close. I'm waiting for my book to be published. And I'm like, it had nothing to do with the property itself. And I'm like, how do I get these people off their butts and start acting? And so I discovered luxury auctions. Just like selling fine art or fine vehicles, where do you take a luxury asset to get the highest dollar amount in a competitive situation where these luxury buyers, they know they're not competing. So they're just like, I'll just throw out a low offer. And unfortunately, in most traditional situations, the buyer's the one at the advantage, not the seller, because you don't have as many buyers for multi-million-dollar properties as you do for $200,000.
The price rises.
Yes, absolutely. So when I learned that you could actually set a deadline and say this home is going to sell on or before October 14th, whatever date, then all of a sudden people start acting. If they really are serious, they're going to do something about it, because these people that got into these positions, they are not used to letting opportunity pass them by. And so we take advantage of that when it comes to the marketing standpoint and say, listen, this is an opportunity you're going to have. It could be once in a lifetime. So if you are interested, you need to step up to the plate, and you can determine what actual value is, because what is value? It's what someone's willing to pay. You get everyone that's willing to pay something in the room, bidding against each other, driving price, and you've determined market value without having to wait a couple years.
There you go. And how did you get into real estate to begin with? What drove you? Is your family in real estate, or?
No, not in real estate at all. No one in the family's in real estate. I will say that I was really intrigued with the investment side, and I thought, if I get my license, then I'm going to have like the inside scoop on all the comps, and I'll be able to see what comes out on the market immediately. And I mean, it was not the greatest venture, but nonetheless, then I started working with people as their agent, and I'm like, this is it. This is my calling. And so instead of doing my own thing, I helped others be successful through their investment.
And you've got incredible personality, so people love you
instantly.
Well,
That's so sweet.
Well, I just speak the truth. We're just keeping it real and as real as it comes out.
I love it.
So, what would you say, what would you recommend to someone that's starting in real estate? what would be your advice for someone that's saying, I'm just going to go get licensed?
Oh, my advice on someone that's just getting into real estate is don't give up. You are going to have a roller coaster of a ride. You're going to have great wins and you're going to have low lows where you feel like you just don't even know why you even got your license. Keep going. Just keep going.
That's beautiful advice. Just keep going. Don't give up.
That's right.
And if you match yourself 10 years ago, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
Have faith, and you know what you're going to do. You know what you're doing. So don't get discouraged and stop or pause, because that can be detrimental in the long term. So again, just keep going.
Just keep going.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Finding Nemo.
Tread the water. So you've seen many exquisite properties. Which one would you say captured your attention or left the most lasting impression?
Oh my gosh. You can't ask me that. That's so hard. There's elements of different ones that I'm just like, This is amazing. I will say that there was one in Annapolis, Maryland. It was right on the bay, right on Chesapeake Bay. It was, oh my gosh, so much frontage. It was beautiful. And every day that I was hosting open houses, I would just look out over all the waters and see all the sailboats, and it was just so picturesque. But it was really cool because there was a lot of history there, including how Annapolis is really there today, or why. It was because of the owners of that property way back when. Amelia Earhart had actually visited the property.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, it was just so cool. She flew her plane in to meet with the at the time the owners of the property, and to ride horses because they were horse people, and so she landed her plane, hopped on a horse, went to the dining room that I was in, had dinner or lunch rather, and had gone back to her plane to get this, find that the cows really liked the wings and ate holes in her plane. So needless to say, she didn't fly home that day, but
I'm glad she discovered it before she took off.
Oh, I know, right? I know.
Jeez.
But, I mean, it's like the story of the homes are what I really fall in love with.
Yes.
You know, there's elements of each home that I'm just like, that's cool, or that's amazing. Like, how did I go this long in life without having a closet like that? But, you know, knowing the real history, I love it.
That's beautiful. So, what inspires you?
What inspires me?
Real estate, life, just in general?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I just like being the best that I can be. And also knowing that there are other people watching, and I want to be a good inspiration for others as well. And that's just gratifying to me.
Alicia, a role model.
I hope a good one.
Yes, absolutely. We know each other for quite some time. And when we met again, I just had to bring your story out there because it is unique what you do with the real estate field, because everybody thinks that, we know it all. But then there are some unique things of this nature that make it more fun to be in real estate, to discover it.
Yes.
That's phenomenal. So what are your plans for the future? Where do you see yourself next 10 years or so?
Where do I see myself? I just see myself with a lot more going on because I'm always growing and always intend to. So, yeah. I mean, I love Texas, so I don't think you're going to get me out of the state. But traveling for properties, I'll do that. But I come back to Frisco.
Frisco, Texas. We love Frisco.
Yes, we
I
do.
love Dallas area, and like you, I traveled quite a bit and all the time. This is my heart.
Yes.
Texas is even shaped kind of like a little heart. Think about it.
Okay, we're gonna go with it.
We're gonna go with it. That's where the heart is. Heart of the United States of America.
So true.
Very true. So what would you say, your media? I'm mega impressed with your LinkedIn profile and all the media where you printed Forbes.
Oh
Really?
yeah. I've been. My properties have been seen in publications all over, both nationally and internationally. because of what I do, unlike a traditional agent that is selling a luxury home, I sell a handful a year, and so the media already knows that if they want some good, luxury home gossip, that they can get it from me. And so I have an edge in that sense.
Wow. That's how.
Not like, but it's just like property gossip. It's like, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe this property has this. And they're like, oh my gosh, it does.
So, have you been to any properties? And we got to talk a little bit about our real estate experience. I was a realtor in the past. Some of the viewers know that. What would be the creepiest home that you ever been to? We are in October. This is Halloween-ish edition.
Okay. So there was one house, and it was in McKinney. It was a historic home. They really weren't sure of how far it dated back. But nonetheless, I was just showing this one. This is my first time in the property. And there were two boys that were both, I think, 12 and 13 with us. And I'm just like, of course it's historic. So they're pushing all the light switches. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, stop.
This is why you need a realtor in your property. If you consider selling by owner, do not.
And so I finally yell at one. Like, we go through the property, and and it's old, so they've preserved a lot, and they did a fantastic job. But including like the toilets, for instance, the tank is up high, and so like it works by gravity.
I lived in a house in Russia that had that.
Really. It was so neat to see, and I have to admit, like,
as a kid, you play with the little string.
And of course, the boys were just enthralled with everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't touch this. And so finally, we're standing in the middle of what I would consider like a ballroom. Like, it was a beautiful, wide open space. It would be great for dancing and great for parties because there was like no obstruction. So, nonetheless, so we're standing there talking, and now the lights are flashing on, and I yell, Zach! I said, don't touch anything! And he's like, I'm not. He's as close to me as I am to you. He was like behind me, and he's like, I'm in the middle of the room. And we're like, let's get out of here.
So it's not like New Orleans properties. You don't get extra value having a ghost?
I wound up talking to the listing agent then at the time. This was like probably 11 years ago, 12 years ago even. And they're like, yeah, we actually put a sign rider that said spirit may convey and sold it. I was just like that? Crazy. So
watch out, New Orleans. You're not the only one that's got interest in properties with extra residents.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the freakiest, I think.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I told you my experience with one of the haunted homes, what perceives to be haunted, and it's very chilling, but at the same time, it makes you drawn in.
Yeah, you want to know more, but it's just like from a safe distance, like outside the house, like across the street.
With the holy water. That's too cute. So let's let our viewers get to know you as a person. Are you a cat woman or a dog woman?
Well, if you had asked me, 10 years ago, I would have said a dog person. But then I got Raja, who is just the sweetest little thing. And then I got her a little sister. And now I think I'm leaning more towards the cat person because they're just so cute and they're so sweet.
But yours are not regular cats, are they?
No, they're Bengals. They're part Asian leopard cat and part house cat.
Wow. So this is almost like a wild cat woman.
Yeah, wildcat woman. Now you're gonna make me sound like like the what is it, Tiger King?
Tiger King. No. No association with that. Sorry. No, just Bengal.
Yeah, just Bengals.
So, what's your favorite food?
Pierogi. Yeah, definitely like the most fattening thing ever. With like pour the butter on, sprinkle the bacon on, and I'm like in heaven. And it's basically like a cardiac arrest waiting to happen on a plate. But, if I had to say, it would either be steak or that. Yeah.
So that's probably also comes hand in hand with your last name. What's the history of your last name?
So my last name's Polish. My family immigrated here 3 generations ago. And, there's a lot that we really don't like follow as far as tradition, but one thing that we do is we will always have our pierogi every Christmas Eve without fail, or it's not Christmas Eve. So, yeah.
It's
So
like
that's how come
Russians
it
and
became,
caviar.
became such a big thing.
But pierogi, once you try it, don't try it because
Yeah,
you
you'll
can't
never
live
go
without
back.
it.
It's like you just look at them and you put on 10 pounds. It's just like that. It's really
Well,
bad.
obviously.
Yeah, I'm prepping. Christmas is right around the corner. I'm prepping right now.
I'm prepping for pierogi.
That's right.
So, what would you say your favorite demise is? Is it wine, champagne,
I tend to go wine.
wine?
I tend to go wine, but you know what? It just depends on like my mood too. So it's mood based. I can be red wine. I can be white wine. I can be like, no, nothing at all. Yeah.
That. Oh no. No is very rare kind of thing when it comes.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of more.
Well,
on the rare
Polish
side,
Russian.
but yeah, but I mean, it's happened.
Sometimes
A
with
couple
me.
times.
Sometimes with me. Wine is definitely my thing as well, so we are hand in
Yeah.
hand on
Cheers.
that. Cheers to that. So, if you were a superhero, what would you be?
Oh, I would be Wonder Woman, of course, with a gold lasso. Yes. She was so cool. Let me tell you, when I would watch Wonder Woman as a child growing up, my sister and I would go in the backyard and we would train to be Wonder Woman. So we actually made ourselves bracelets that looked kind of like hers in our mind. They didn't, but, to us they did. And
Imagination,
we had
where it's at.
oh, yes. And then we had, like, our gold lassos, and we would practice lassoing each other. This is what kids do, right?
Are you sure that was not a Texan in you?
It could have been. It could have been. Now that I think about it, yes, you've got a good point.
Well, Wonder Woman was from Texas. I'm pretty sure of that.
I mean, she did have the lasso. I think you got it. You've got it figured out.
We got it figured out. So, Alicia, thank you so much for being on this Real Estate Come Dallas.
You're welcome.
What question would you ask yourself that I haven't asked that you think will help viewers to learn something new about you?
Oh, goodness. Where am I going next?
Where are you going next?
So my next property is a condo in Chicago. It's an entire floor, about 5,200 square feet, 5-bedroom, right in the heart of Chicago. And it is going to be selling to the highest bidder regardless of price.
Wow. Chicago.
There you go. Come see me.
I would love to. That kind of property, I would love to go and see it. That would be beautiful. Wow. Impressive.
And you've even got views of the lake. So you've got the city views, you've got the lake views, you got everything.
Do you see the pier with the Ferris wheel and everything from there?
You're going to have to come so you can see it for yourself.
I'm taking that invitation. That sounds like an invite to me. Once again, this was our awesome Alicia Chmielewski. Oh, Milewski.
You did perfect. Excellent.
And we're here on this Real Estate Com Dallas. So now we're keeping it real to edition or rubric of our show. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and we'll be more than happy to see you. Thank you.
Bye.